The hero of our story is the strongest sage who saved mankind from the invasion of monsters and their king, but exhausted by the deadly battle, he died. Fortunately for him, this is not the end. He is reborn in the body of a boy 50 years later and enters the Academy of Magic to become the strongest again. Will he succeed? Let's find out. Atsumu wakes up, shocked to find he's alive despite using all his magic. He questions the situation and doesn't believe he's still alive. Looking at himself in the mirror, he's shocked by his new appearance. A doctor enters the room along with a nurse. She addresses our boy as Kusanagi, and he becomes more confused as he hears the unfamiliar name. The doctor asks him to lay down and tries checking his injuries. He removes the bandages and is surprised to find that the protagonist has been healed completely. He is unable to believe what he's seeing. The doctor remembers he was in horrible condition just the other day after a traffic accident and losing consciousness. He wonders how the boy has already healed so quickly. The doctor thinks it's like being healed by holy magic. Kusanagi is confused to learn about the traffic accident and reveals that his body can automatically heal itself using holy magic powers. He asks the doctors if his magic power has run out, but they don't understand what he's trying to say. He tells them he was in the middle of fighting monsters during the calamity. The doctor and nurse both get shocked by his words. The doctor asks the boy if he still remembers his name and the year it is right now. Ichikami states his name and believes it is still 1970. But the doctor assumes he is experiencing a sequela and calls it a memory impairment issue. The doctor informs the boy that his real name is Kusanagi Minato, and the current year is 2022. Kusanagi becomes confused, and it's hard for him to believe all of this. He looks at the doctor and assumes the guy is telling the truth. He notices a TV and wonders how it is so thin and has such a clean image as well. The protagonist finds a calendar and confirms it really is 2022. He is shocked to see a thin device in the nurse's hands. Our boy becomes confused and starts wondering if he really is in the future. The doctor reveals some information about the calamity our boy mentioned. He remembers it happened 50 years ago but never happened again since. The protagonist is unable to believe his words and questions what happened to all the monsters. The doctor calls it a peaceful era and reveals that there are barely any monsters now. Kusanagi finds out the world has finally achieved true peace and becomes relieved. He thanks God and starts smiling. The doctor tells him that Ichikami, the person he is talking about, died in the calamity 50 years ago. He is considered a hero who sacrificed his own life to save the world. The doctor doesn't believe Kusanagi is Ichikami Atsumu. Our boy assumes he died 50 years ago and somehow was able to reincarnate into Kusanagi Minato. He does not understand how this happened. And as a week passes by, he finally enters his apartment and checks out Kusanagi's room. He feels sad as he learns about the old Kusanagi's life. His parents passed away when he was just a little kid. He also got kicked out by his new foster parents and was sent to a shitty boarding school. Ever since all this happened, Kusanagi has been surviving using his parents' inheritance. The protagonist has never heard of something known as reincarnation magic. He wonders if the reincarnation he is experiencing is the work of a god. Maybe it all happened randomly. He looks at Kusanagi's Magic Academy card and remembers that back in his days, there was no such thing as a Magic Academy. He finds it interesting. All of a sudden, his phone starts ringing. He wonders what it is and picks up his phone. He sees someone named Tadano calling him, but doesn't understand what he should do. Kusanagi decides to ignore it and throws away his phone. It keeps ringing, and a message pops up. Tadano says he knows our boy got discharged from the hospital and requests Kusanagi to come back to school already as he is running out of money. The next day, our boy attends the Magic Academy, and as he enters the school, he starts looking around. He finds it exciting to be attending school again as an adult. As he is enjoying the moment, he notices a random student use his magic abilities to attack a dummy doll. Kusanagi becomes disappointed to see the scene and wonders why everyone has such weak magic powers. He observes more students and realizes all of them are complete crap. It's hard for him to believe. He remembers even the newbies from his time were 10 times stronger than these pathetic students. He doubts they will ever succeed as magicians, and even though it is a peaceful era, he doesn't understand why magic declined to such an extent. He enters his classroom and finds his chair. He starts feeling excited about his academic life and wonders if he has any friends in the classroom. Suddenly, a red-haired student appears with 2 more kids. He questions why our boy ignored his texts, even though he is just Kusanagi. The protagonist doesn't recognize the guy, so he politely asks his name. Tadano becomes angry and kicks the table as he states his name again. He calls Kusanagi weak and a piece of trash, but our boy doesn't take him seriously. He suddenly remembers it's the guy who was calling him. He assumes Tadano is his friend. Tadano smiles wickedly and pulls out his hand, asking for money. Kusanagi assumes he's a good friend and holds his hand passionately, hoping they can get along well. Tadano becomes angry and grabs him by his collar while demanding money. He tries to scare Kusanagi and believes he has a lot left from his parents' inheritance. Kusanagi finally understands the situation and finds out that his old self was being bullied. Tadano tries to throw a punch to put our boy in his place, but out of nowhere, a blue-haired girl with a beautiful face enters the classroom. She wishes everyone a good morning. Her pretty smile calms down Tadano. He decides to let our boy go but makes it clear that he is expecting money from him later. Kusanagi becomes annoyed, but the bully finally leaves the classroom. The class finally begins, and the teacher starts talking about the Great Calamity, also known as the Final Calamity. 50 years ago, monsters appeared all across the world, and humanity despaired because of them. But the great sage known as Ichikami Atsumu remained determined to save humanity. He never gave up and destroyed all the monsters by himself. He finally confronted the demon god known as the Calamity Boss. The reason behind the whole phenomenon, Ichikami risked his own life to defeat the final boss, and ever since that day, Calamity has never returned. The teacher starts asking the students about the great sage. The blue-haired girl from earlier raises her hand. Her name is Mizuha. The teacher gives her permission to answer the question. She says Ichikami is the great sage and the first ever magician who survived the first calamity. He is also behind the reason their academy was built. Her eyes start sparkling with excitement as she shares that Ichikami is the hero of humanity, the idol of every magician across the world. The teacher confirms she is correct and teaches the class about the great sage who survived the first calamity and was the first to learn how to use magic. The academy was created to make more magicians just like him. He is the strongest magician in human history. The teacher advises them to learn about him and prepare for the upcoming test. The protagonist starts feeling embarrassed as he hears everyone praising Ichikami. He was not expecting such torture and starts regretting joining the academy. He remembers what the doctor said and assumes everyone has weak magic because now the world is at peace. He looks outside his window and starts smiling as he enjoys his new peaceful life. The teacher finally ends the class and hopes everyone is prepared for the magic power assessment exam tomorrow. Tadano approaches the protagonist again and asks if he heard what the teacher said. He is excited and believes it's going to be fun seeing Kusanagi's dogshit magic abilities. Our boy wonders why the bully isn't shutting up. He decides to leave the classroom, and as he walks away, Tadano points out that even his parents had no magic abilities. The bully calls him an orphan and starts laughing at him. The protagonist finally starts talking back. Tadano becomes angry as he hears Kusanagi insulting him. His patience runs out, and he starts activating some kind of fire magic. The classmates become shocked and try to stop him. One of them wonders if he is really going to use such a spell inside the classroom. Tadano fires the magic spell towards our boy, hoping he dies. The blue-haired girl moves forward to stop him, but she ends up being too late. As he sees the fire blast coming towards him, the protagonist stands completely unfazed. The magic attack hits him hard, and all the students step back. Mizuha calls it stupid and warns him not to use magic in such a meaningless fight, not wanting anyone hurt. Tadano defends himself, blaming Kusanagi and refusing to accept his fault. The students grow concerned about our boy, but as the smoke clears, Kusanagi comes out unscathed. The students are surprised, and he admits he got caught off guard. Tadano, scared, questions why Kusanagi is still standing despite taking the magic attack head-on. Our boy can easily defend against level 1 magic with his barrier without using powers. He tolerated the insults because Tadano is just a child, but now believes he must be punished. With a cold expression, he moves toward the bully. Tadano sweats anxiously, and Kusanagi unleashes his magic. The students freeze, unable to move, all questioning what's happening. Mizuha wonders what's going on. Kusanagi walks toward Tadano, moving his hand forward. Tadano nearly shits himself, but the teacher intervenes, entering the classroom and asking about the sound. He questions if anyone is using magic inside. Kusanagi assures him there's nothing going on inside, believing the magic came from outside. The teacher remembers no magic activity today, but our boy says someone outside their department might be practicing. The teacher demands an explanation for the smoke, and Kusanagi answers it came from outside. The teacher believes him, orders the class to return to their seats, and resolves to find the culprit. Kusanagi apologizes with a smile and decides to create false evidence to close the case. All the students, including Mizuha, are surprised. Tadano grits his teeth in frustration. The protagonist believes the students are weak and doubts they can kill a monster. Though the calamity ended 50 years ago, he knows dangerous monsters may still exist. He decides to check it out. At night, he enters old Shibuya using magic circles, observing the ruined city and remembering what it looked like in his past life. He finds no monsters and assumes the police handled it. Suddenly, he senses a monster's aura and a human nearby and quickly moves to investigate. A monster corners a white-haired girl who cries in fear and begs for her life. The monster moves to eat her, but the boy intervenes. The monster roars in pain and dies in one attack. The protagonist notices a police badge on her clothes. Assuming she's from the magician police, he advises her to be more careful next time. She thanks him, but he summons circles and leaves. She wonders who he was, thinking he's a great magician but questioning how he defeated the monster without chanting. Kusanagi feels glad his face is hidden, not wanting attention since he's newly reincarnated. He's surprised to see a police magician almost die to a weak monster and assumes even the police are weaker now. He doubts people from this era can defeat monsters. The whole new generation, including students and police, is much weaker than before. He smiles, realizing humanity needs his powers again. He starts moving, deciding to defeat all the monsters in the area. The next day, at the academy, the teacher asks everyone to get ready for the magic power test. He hopes they measure both attributes and the amount properly, as they're crucial if they want to pursue a magician profession. Our boy questions why his powers can't be measured without the weird device, understanding its necessity for students but wondering how a teacher can be unaware that magic perception is a foundation of magic. Mizuha steps forward and asks if it's the right time. The students notice them talking and wonder why Mizuha is calling Kusanagi out. She introduces herself as the second daughter of the noble magic house Mizuha Yuika. He doesn't understand what a noble family is, so she explains it's one of the 4 leading noble houses, heads of magicians. He doesn't recognize her and remembers no noble families during his time. Observing her weak magic, he wonders why she brags about her family of prominent magicians with such a pathetic magic level. Mizuha asks why he's uninterested, hoping he'd be more grateful. Tadano grits his teeth in jealousy, wondering what they're talking about. Kusanagi asks why a magic noble would talk to a lowlife like him. She gets annoyed but tries to keep her dignity, thinking she must act properly as a noble. He questions if she has a mental issue. Mizuha recalls the magic blast that did 0 damage to him yesterday, and wonders if there's a reason behind it. She tries to bring it up, but the teacher interrupts, telling the students to get ready for measurements. Kusanagi takes the opportunity to walk away, smiling. Mizuha decides to wait and see his real powers after the assessments. Tadano confidently unleashes his powers, showing 1000 magic power with a fire attribute. He celebrates his improvement. Kusanagi notes that the standards are the same as in his time. Next, Mizuha steps forward, unleashing her magic. Her attribute is water and her magic power is 2000. Everyone is surprised, and the teacher praises both her and Tadano, saying they're at the top and will make great magicians. The students start praising them too. Kusanagi, disappointed, calls it a joke, thinking 2000 magic power is no better than amateur level. Mizuha looks smug, trying to show off her noble family's power. He wonders why she's proudly looking at him. Suddenly he hears the teacher call him for assessments. As he walks toward the device, he hears students talk about his results last year. Despite excelling in studies, he ranked lowest in magic. Tadano, thinking Kusanagi has 0 talent, looks forward to seeing him embarrass himself. Mizuha wonders how much power Kusanagi is hiding but doubts he can surpass her. Irritated, Kusanagi remembers standing out in his past life, which was annoying. He considers holding back but decides to go all out, unleashing everything with a smile and challenging the machine to handle the power of the greatest sage in history. The machine glows and a beam of light shoots out of the building, noticed by 2 students from different classes. Mizuha is confused as the machine starts acting strangely. It glows more before a huge explosion breaks it. The students scramble to save themselves from the blast. Our boy is disappointed the machine broke, thinking he barely even tried. He doubts any of his classmates could sense his magic power. The teacher, concerned, asks if everyone is fine. They assure him they are. He asks Kusanagi if he's okay, commenting that he got lucky, standing in the middle of the explosion. The teacher wonders if the device malfunctioned. He's worried it's now impossible to measure Kusanagi's magic power and attributes. Kusanagi asks why he's so concerned. The teacher says he was hoping to split the students into groups for combat class, but can't decide without the assessment results. The teacher asks Tadano to take Kusanagi in his group. Tadano agrees, seeing an opportunity to bully our boy. The teacher is relieved, glad it's Tadano. The bully approaches Kusanagi, saying he looks forward to their combat class, his face twisted with an evil expression. The students reach Old Shibuya, and the teacher explains that there are still a few monsters living inside the city, which was destroyed by the Great Calamity. The magicians and police regularly come to this abandoned city to fight the monsters that are still living here. The students of the academy are also required to help with this for some reason. The teacher assures them not to stress, since most monsters have already been taken care of by the pro-magicians and police officers. Our boy wasn't expecting a practical class. He hopes the students can take out a few monsters since they'll be working in groups. He remembers coming here last night but feels weird as he senses a few monsters nearby. He remembers that he cleaned the place properly yesterday. He doesn't find any signs of disaster nearby and questions why more monsters keep appearing in Old Shibuya. He hears a few girls talking about competing with each other. Despite it being a practical class, our boy is surprised to see the students acting so carefree. Mizuha carefully observes Kusanagi for some reason. The teacher starts the practical class and hopes everyone can work with each other well. Tadano notices the protagonist and calls him. He approaches our boy with his group and advises him to stay where he is and avoid getting in their way. Tadano makes it clear he won't go easy this time if Kusanagi gets carried away like before. The protagonist doesn't understand why they don't just ignore him if they hate him so much. Tadano becomes angry and orders him not to talk back. He doesn't understand why Mizuha still talks to Kusanagi even though he's totally trash. Our boy is astonished to hear this and finds out that Tadano has feelings for Mizuha. Tadano becomes enraged. The protagonist notices something, and the bullies try to attack him with their magic powers, but he warns them to stop. Tadano makes it clear that his apology won't work this time. Kusanagi asks him to look behind, but Tadano believes he's trying to play some kind of stupid trick to save himself. Tadano looks behind, and the whole group of bullies finds a tall monster standing behind them. They all start sweating anxiously and question why there's a demon soldier in this abandoned city. The other bullies hype up Tadano and believe he can defeat it. He assures them he will win, though with an anxious expression on his face. He moves forward and attacks it with his fire magic. An explosion occurs as it hits the monster. Tadano and his friends become relieved, but as the smoke clears, the monster stands unscathed in front of them. Tadano sees no scratch on it and becomes terrified. Our boy reveals that his pathetic level 1 magic won't do anything to a demon soldier. As the monster moves forward, the whole group gets terrified. They all fall to their knees and start shivering. Tadano's eyes get teary, and he wonders if his life ends here. He pathetically pisses his pants as well. But just as he is about to be killed, the demon soldier notices our boy's power. It becomes scared and takes a step back. Kusanagi moves forward and is surprised that the monster was able to sense which one of them is the strongest. He faces the demon soldier himself and unleashes his power. The monster starts going all out as well and summons multiple magic circles. Tadano and his group doubt the protagonist can defeat it. They all accept their death. The monster pulls out some level 2 magic called Rock Break. A huge rock is about to hit our boy, but he stands unfazed and smiles. He pulls out a level 1 magic called Fire Arrow and throws it toward the demon soldier. His fire arrow completely destroys the rock thrown by the monster. It hits the demon soldier as well, and a huge explosion occurs. Tadano and his gang partners open their eyes. They're shocked to see the monster died. Tadano questions what's happening and wonders if Kusanagi is behind all of this. He doesn't believe it, and thinks it's impossible for someone like Kusanagi. But our boy lets him know that if he is the one using it, even level 1 magic is enough to defeat the demon soldier. He finds it strange to see such monsters appearing in Shibuya. Even though he just cleaned the whole place and defeated all the monsters in this area yesterday, he thinks maybe it's some kind of bad omen before a big disaster. The protagonist wonders if he should take the whole situation seriously. Suddenly, he gets flashbacks of the destruction he saw in his previous life. He had to watch many people, including his loved ones, die in front of him. He becomes a bit sad and squeezes his fist. The protagonist becomes determined to save humanity, even if the calamity ends up happening again. The other bullies admit they saw Kusanagi defeat the demon soldier. They wonder if it's the same Kusanagi they know. Tadano becomes frustrated and punches the wall. He feels angry and doesn't understand what's happening. Meanwhile, Mizuha observes everything from behind and is surprised to learn more about Kusanagi. Mizuha pulls out a level 1 magic called Aqua Saucer and easily defeats a weak monster. Her classmates are astonished, so they start praising her. She feels irritated and wonders why ordinary people get impressed so easily. She believes it's just because she's a genius. Suddenly she finds Tadano's group. Mizuha asks her group members to handle the rest and leaves. She thinks Tadano might be bullying the protagonist again and feels excited. She quickly runs to watch them so she doesn't miss this opportunity. She stands behind a wall and takes a peek. Mizuha becomes shocked as she sees a demon soldier. She doubts they can take such a monster on in battle. But despite being scared, the girl decides to help them since she belongs to the Mizuha family. She is confident she can do something. Mizuha runs toward the group, yelling at everyone to start running. Suddenly, a huge wave of fire magic gets launched in front of her and hits the demon soldier. Kusanagi takes down the strong monster in one attack. Mizuha is shocked and wonders if our boy is behind all of this. She remembers Kusanagi used to be a shy kid with trash magic powers. The girl is unable to believe she's looking at the same Kusanagi. She was watching closely and didn't even hear any chanting. Mizuha doesn't understand how it's possible for him to defeat a demon soldier with just level 1 magic without even chanting a single spell. It's all too hard for her to believe. She understands that every demon's strength is determined by the number of crystals they have on their body. This method is also used to establish a ranking between demons. Magical beasts are rank 6. Demon soldiers are rank 5. Demon captains are rank 4. Demon generals take the 3rd rank. The demon king comes at rank 2. And lastly, the strongest demon, also known as the demon god, is rank 1. These numbers are all fixed for each demon, so every modern magician knows at least level 3 magic is required to defeat a demon soldier. She doesn't believe level 1 magic is enough to beat it. Kusanagi starts walking in her direction. She knows she has no reason to hide, so she peeks again and looks at the protagonist. He calls her out for peeking around like this. She becomes embarrassed and questions how he found out. Our boy thinks it would be stupid not to know since she is a mage. Mizuha gets confused. He's disappointed to see they really can't sense magic at all. The boy starts walking away. She tries to stop him, but he doesn't listen and keeps moving forward. Mizuha demands an explanation and starts running behind him but finds no one in the alley. Kusanagi jumps up a building and feels irritated as he sees the girl doing her best to find him. He decides to check around for monsters and learns there are no demon soldiers in the area left. But the number of magical beasts is still a lot. After seeing Tadano's pathetic performance in front of a demon soldier, he doubts other students are capable of taking on magical beasts. The protagonist decides to get rid of a few magical beasts. His body starts glowing suddenly as he activates his magic. He's able to cover the area around the abandoned city, so he pulls out 2 magic circles and uses his level 2 magic called Barret. Multiple beams of light shoot out into the sky and spread across Shibuya. Tadano and his group notice the beam of light. They think they are seeing shooting stars. Mizuha recognizes it as magic and wonders who unleashed multiple magic abilities at once. Somewhere inside Shibuya, 2 students become surrounded by magical beasts. They become hopeless as they see multiple monsters approaching them at once. They both give up and accept their fate. But as the monster moves forward to kill the girl, it suddenly stops and starts screaming in pain as it gets hit by the strong beam of light. The students ask each other if they're fine. The protagonist watches everything from above. He feels amazing killing all the monsters. He sees all of them dropping dead and suddenly realizes he overdid it and ended up killing almost all the monsters in Shibuya. Kusanagi becomes concerned and wonders if the class will still proceed after this. He regrets not holding back. He uses his magic circles to move around the city and finds a hidden alley to land. He doesn't want to hide his powers more than necessary, but all the attention is annoying. He joins his classmates and teachers. The teacher checks a magical beast's dead body and wonders why so many are left. He thought most had already been hunted down or died. He believes a skilled individual just killed them, since killing a monster in a single strike isn't easy. He remembers the magic that killed the monsters. He knows firing so many magic bullets falls under the null attribute. Astonished, he admits he's never seen such a thing before. He admits things would have gotten out of hand without the magic bullets, knowing even firing 2 is an impressive feat. The teacher is in disbelief and understands that if the number reaches 6 or more, no average student can use such magic. The students yell in frustration, asking why they had to face so many monsters and almost lose their lives. The teacher bows and apologizes. He recalls confirming with the police that most monsters had been wiped out already and regrets not double-checking with the school. He genuinely apologizes for putting the whole class in danger. A female student asks if someone came to save them. The teacher says he has no idea but adds that it wasn't the police or an official mage, but likely some illegal magician. He thanks the unknown savior in his heart. Our boy smiles as he listens to the teacher indirectly praise him. He notices a few students discussing his magic bullets, all wondering what they were. Kusanagi is relieved to see everyone is okay, even his bullies. Tadano grits his teeth in frustration. The whole group of bullies stares at the protagonist. Mizuha remembers seeing Kusanagi defeat a demon soldier alone with just level 1 magic, followed by some kind of infinite magic. She wonders if Kusanagi is behind both. Fire and null are different attributes, and she doubts any student can have both. Even Kusanagi. She calms down, thinking it's impossible for him to have 2 attributes and assumes someone else is behind the null attribute. She still doesn't understand how Kusanagi defeated the demon soldier alone. Tadano's group suggests he might also be behind the laser beams. Tadano calls it impossible, but his friend reminds him that Kusanagi defeated the demon soldier too. Tadano becomes angry and warns his friend to shut up or he'll die. His friends become terrified. Tadano makes it clear he'll never believe someone like Kusanagi is capable of such feats. He thinks Kusanagi is hiding something. His lackeys agree and remember how much of a coward Kusanagi is. Tadano screams in rage, saying he'll prove Kusanagi is cheating. He's determined to push Kusanagi into a corner and force him to reveal his true identity. After school, Kusanagi walks out and gets surrounded by a huge gang of bullies. Tadano steps forward and says he's been waiting patiently. The protagonist feels irritated and advises them to put that persistence into learning magic instead. Tadano believes he has no right to say such things since he cheats too. Kusanagi is confused by the accusation of cheating, but Tadano insists he's definitely hiding cheap tricks. Tired of their nonsense, Kusanagi realizes there's no point reasoning with them. Tadano orders him to follow. He praises Kusanagi for not running away. Kusanagi clarifies there's no reason to. Tadano doesn't believe him and attacks, throwing a punch, knowing Kusanagi won't use magic in a public park. The punch hits his face but he remains unfazed. The bullies gang up on him, attacking, but he remains patient and doesn't fight back. Tadano asks what's wrong, assuming Kusanagi can't do anything without his magic. He continues attacking, making it clear he won't stop and will kill Kusanagi even if he begs. The protagonist feels disappointed. Their attacks don't even scratch him. His magical powers automatically defend him from any physical attack. Annoyed, he decides to act hurt to satisfy Tadano. Suddenly someone appears behind and questions why they're attacking Kusanagi. Tadano looks back and sees it's Mizuha. The bully becomes embarrassed and tries to clarify. He tells Mizuha they're just playing around. She doesn't fall for his bullshit and calls him out for bullying Kusanagi. She is disappointed to see her classmates acting this way, and wonders if they don't feel ashamed because of their actions. Tadano feels weird but blames all of it on Kusanagi. He thinks Mizuha hates him now, all because of him. She grabs the protagonist's hand and starts dragging him out of this whole mess. Tadano notices her grab Kusanagi's hand. He feels jealous and gets fed up. Tadano stops holding back and loses his patience. He tries to throw a magic attack towards our boy. Kusanagi becomes annoyed. Tadano gets ready to end his life, and his lackeys activate their magic as well. Mizuha questions why they're acting this way. The whole group throws a fire attack towards the protagonist. Mizuha knows how dangerous it is, so she tries to save Kusanagi, but she is unable to make it in time. He takes all the attacks head-on. Tadano laughs confidently as he believes no trashy tricks will help Kusanagi save himself from this much power. His lackeys get concerned and wonder if he died. Tadano calls them stupid for worrying so much. He makes up a story that they just used magic outside of school, and it ended up getting out of control. Kusanagi just got caught in the whole mess, and that's the reason he got hurt. The lackeys believe they took it too far. As the smoke clears, Kusanagi says he was trying to be patient since they're nothing more than brats to him. But their stupidity can't be cured unless they get punished. He gets ready to teach them all a lesson. Tadano is surprised to find him alive even though they threw such powerful magic spells at him. Kusanagi becomes serious and tells them they shouldn't have dragged Mizuha into their fight. He wonders how rotten they are for acting this way. Tadano screams and blames both of them for this mess. He thinks they should regret making a fool out of him. So he pulls out another magic circle and announces they will all keep attacking till Kusanagi finally drops dead. Our boy pulls out a tiny magic circle. The bullies laugh at him and call it crappy. They assume he's bluffing, and all of them attack at once with everything they have, hoping Kusanagi finally dies. The protagonist uses magic drain. Weird green tentacles come out of the small circle and grab the whole gang. They all become terrified and try to free themselves but fail miserably. Their strength gets sucked out, and the bullies start falling unconscious. Tadano and his lackeys stop moving. Kusanagi is disappointed. He was expecting them to last a little longer than this. He hopes the bullies reflect after this and get their shit together. Mizuha becomes confused. She wonders if she saw magic just now. She is surprised to see the whole gang got knocked unconscious but doesn't understand how it happened. Kusanagi gets up and tries to leave, but Mizuha stops him and asks what happened. She asks about the magic as well and remembers he couldn't even cast a weak spell just a few days ago. She questions who he is. The protagonist becomes annoyed by her behavior and questions her. He advises her to do something else instead of asking so many weird questions. Mizuha starts blushing. She shows her gratitude and thanks him for saving her. The girl requests him to now answer her questions, but she doesn't find him anywhere. She becomes embarrassed and questions why he left her again. At night, Kusanagi enters old Shibuya again and uses his magic circles to move around. He had a bad feeling during the daytime, so he decided to come and check what's happening. He finds more monsters in the area, even though he killed all of them during the daytime. He believes it might be some kind of bad omen. The protagonist is confident he can handle it all alone if the monsters are only appearing in old Shibuya. But he's able to sense more in other places. He thinks it might be too much for the police, and there's barely any good magicians as well. But he doubts he can defeat monsters all across the country alone. He doesn't know what to do, so he decides to form a plan first. He thinks of starting by wiping out all the monsters in old Shibuya first, while avoiding any kind of attention. He uses his magic bullets again and kills multiple monsters at once. A drunk guy enters a dangerous place without realizing it. Suddenly, a monster appears behind him, but he gets taken care of by the protagonist instantly. The guy notices him but blames it on his imagination and starts leaving. Our boy hopes he didn't get seen by the guy. He uses his magic circle and jumps out. Someone catches him and records everything on his phone. The guy feels astonished and believes his video will definitely go viral. He doesn't waste a second and posts it online.